Afternoon all, how are we all doing? Afternoon Peter, John, JC, Crom, Virginia, how are we doing? Had lovely mornings. Afternoon Fletch. I'm just adjusting something over here. Yes, so banked 1.5% today, so pretty good day so far. Getting into some more positions as well. So there's two new trades gone on today. Euro yen long, which I'm not 100% on, but we'll see. Oops. So H1 RSI extension. We had a 5-minute reversal alert on that this morning. Here somewhere. Not quite sure exactly where it was. It was off of that candle, wasn't it? So it's there. That was the entry there. So that low and that candle there was your reversal alert. And then as soon as we put the reversal alert in, we just put another bottom in at 125 ADR. So this was also an ADR reversal today. Looking for a push back up. Target wise, I'm not sure on this. So what's that? Not a lot. Don't know what to make of the euro and the yen at the minute. So I'm just going to target the middle propulsion gap at the minute on this and see if we can get a move back up into there. But we'll see. Also taking a pound Swiss long. So same thing. Pound has absolutely collapsed this morning's PMIs. So big push down on that pound today. So the PMIs are like inflation, basically. They're the manufacturer's inflation figure. So it means that their prices are starting to drop, which takes inflationary pressure off. It means that there's possibly less movement on the pound interest rates to the upside. They're still factoring a 5.75 in, so it's at least another 0.5% on top. So so taking along on that one, we've got two nice supports coming up. We're at 175 ADR, so that is a nice RSI extension. Dropped a little bit more, so I'll look for that initial move basically to see if we can get that out of it to start with. So yeah, banked 1.5%. So if I quickly go through what's banked, I've put it all in the Telegram group anyway, but pound New Zealand I'm flat, so that was the initial entry on the RSI extension. 3 positions on that one. Fourth one I took off yesterday, and the remainder I've just taken off today. So that's all done and flat. Pound yen, flat on that one. So got out of that one today as well. I posted that in Telegram. I've had multiple exits on that already. So that was quite a nice profit on the pound New Zealand. Pound yen. CAD yen ADR. We'll go through the ADRs in a minute. There's quite a few. Euro pound. Nice easy one. So that was the initial entry. Second entry there, out. That was another pound yen from yesterday. So that's everything that's banked today. 23rd, hang on, Euro New Zealand. Oh yeah, Euro New Zealand, I took that one off. I took another one off there yesterday, so banked nicely on that one. CAD Swiss ADR, there's loads of movement going on at the moment. Still got 3 positions on that one. There's another one down there. So average is there. I'm looking to get out on that average, which basically gets me out the whole lot with a load of profit. So there we go. 1.75 banked yesterday as well. So it's brought me up to 4.5% for the month, which, to be honest, on a month like this, I'll take 5%. Like squeezing blood out of a stone this month. Afternoon, everybody else. AJ, can you tell your Indian friend to stop clogging up my YouTube feed? Oh, is that Nirav? He's not my Indian friend. I was from London. I don't even know if he's Indian. Yeah. Nirav's been advertising again, has he? Our useless retail candlesticks. These useless retail candlesticks that make me this lovely green profit every month are useless. Anywho, Afternoon, Steve, Marco, Gordy, David, Sibo, Brian, konnichiwa. Afternoon, Jimmy. See a reversal on Euro Swiss. Depends what time frame you're looking at. Not at the moment. We've had one today, but I'm not in it. Good double bottom, potentially, for a bounce. The trouble with the Euro Swiss is when the Euro powers up, the Swiss franc powers up as well. And the Swiss franc is quite often stronger than the Euro because a lot of money goes into the Swissy while it's being held for other positions. So it's quite tricky, Euro Swiss to long, as you can see by that hideous long I had here. Was just nasty. Got out of it, but it was nasty. It'd be nasty. Right. How long we got to the open? 1 minute. So Dow Jones today. We've had a little bit of a drop on the Dow off the news. So we gapped on the Dow. We've just filled the gap. The DAX has also filled the gap. Dow Jones today, we are coming off of a triple bottom here. So really nice bounce on Friday, Monday, and yesterday. Obviously today, downside, quadruple bottom. Upside, got to be looking at yesterday's high and previous day's high, which is also ADR. So plenty of room to the upside. We've had some figures come out from Peloton today. Huge drop in Peloton earnings. NASDAQ. So Peloton's in the NASDAQ. So their shares have dropped 30% today. So we'll see. We may well get a little bit more at the open sold off. So we'll watch this today, but we might get some negative movement. So we've got 10 seconds to the open. We'll see where we go. But the thing we've got to bear in mind today is we've got news in 15 minutes. So a little bit like today on the DAX, we might get a bit of a whippy open because we've got news. So not taking any pre-markets there. Pre-market range too small. Too small. Too small. So the pre-market range is a little bit too tight today. So I'm going to be taking the 5-minute opening range breaks. So yeah, news today. Obviously, we've had all the PMI figures this morning. So we had a negative move off of the euro today. We had a very negative move off of the pound today. We've had the Canadian retail sales, which didn't do a great deal. And the main news we got this afternoon is in 15 minutes, we've got the PMI figures for the US dollar coming out. So if these US dollar PMIs come out as negative today, that's going to give the Fed reason not to increase interest rates anymore. Although they said they weren't happy with inflation, it's gone up ever so slightly. If the PMIs come down, that's an indication that normal inflation will come down, which will take off the interest rate pressure. So that will be negative US. So if we do get big red numbers today here, we will probably get a big sell-off on the US. Likewise, if this has gone up, bearing in mind we had an ever such a slight increase on the inflation figures for the US last time, that is going to mean they want to put interest rates up, which should be bullish. But we're not having massive strength off of US bullish news. So we will see where we go. It's a tricky one at the moment. Lovely move on the pound. I took a pound long off support resistance this morning down here. So we looked at this morning. This is a triple bottom bounce. So I've just taken that. I've got 2 positions on it. I've got in on the first position. I've just taken a second entry on the 15-minute reversal alert there. So we just got the reversal alert on M15. I'm targeting a 50% pullback on this drop, which is basically around about that resistance. In fact, what I might do with the first position is take the first position off below that resistance, because that's 7%. Mind you, if we get negative US news, this thing's going to fly. So screw it. Let's go for it. If we get negative news on the US dollar, this thing's off. If we get positive news, then I'm stopped out at 5%, but whatever. So yeah, took that this morning. Sitting in 3% on it. I should really break even it. I'll have a think about that in a minute. We've got 15 minutes until the news. So ADR's all over the place today, as you can see. So there's your break on the Dow to the upside. So if you did take the pre-market breaks today, you've been triggered long on the Dow. You've been triggered long on the NASDAQ. Possibly short as well, and long on the S&P. Tricky to tell where we're going to go ahead of the news. They certainly seem to be selling the US dollar off ahead of this news. So today we've got loads and loads and loads of ADRs. We'll look through the ADRs. We'll look through the RSIs in a minute. We'll just wait for this 5-minute candle to go in. I just want to see if we get a whipsaw out of this open. This morning, Dow is certainly whipping. That's a big range that's going in on the Dow as well. All of them actually have fairly decent ranges on the 5-minute. Afternoon day trader FX. No, none care. Sorry I wasn't around over the last weeks. Been sick, and it seems you're doing all right, as always and always. The teaching, no problem. Sorry you've been ill. Hope you feel better. Sibo, any bias on the NASDAQ? No, don't have a bias on indices. There's no point in having a bias on indices because they go where they go. So if you have a bias long and you only take long positions, every time it breaks short, you're going to not have the opportunity to make any money, are you? Don't have biases on scalps. Scalps, anything you trade on the 5-minute time frame, you should be led by momentum and volume, not by bias. No point in having a bias. You're trading chop. You're trading algorithmic movement here. There's absolutely no bias to algorithmic movement. If Peloton shares collapse, this thing's going down, right? If you've got a bias long, it's got nothing to do with it. Peloton shares drop 25 to 30%, it's not going up. So whatever your moving average tells you, it's irrelevant in the stock market. Okay, so 5-minute ranges are in, pending orders placed. So we'll see where we go. We've got 10 minutes until the open. 10 minutes until the news. So hopefully the ideal would be to get triggered in one direction and then the market absolutely scream. This is a very risky position today because this thing could well trigger an order and then go absolutely crazy in the other direction. So I'm half expecting to get hedged on everything today. So it could be a bit of a losing day today, but we'll see. The other opportunity is obviously we make about $8,000, which is nice. Afternoon, Kennelly. Afternoon, AZ. US dollar yen and Swiss yen are moving. We'll have a look at those in a minute. Francisco, I've sent an email regarding the indicators. Purchased the MT5 version, but I'm not happy with MT5. What can I do to switch? You can't, fortunately. MQL5 don't allow you to switch platforms. If you've if you've installed the indicators and used them, you've used them. They're electronic. You can't get a refund. You can't get an exchange. You have to buy them. Different software platforms. They basically, I've asked this question many times of MQL5. I've asked for two things out of MQL5 multiple times. One of them is a discount structure. People ask me, can you do me a deal on all the indicators? Happily. But MQL5 do not put any system in place for me to offer discount codes, bulk buys, anything like that. I've asked them many times, and I said, you know, people want to buy more stuff. If you give them a discount, they'll buy more stuff. They don't do it. The other thing I've asked them for is for people to be able to swap their licenses between platforms, and they always come back with the Windows versus Apple Mac analogy. Nope, MT4 is Windows, MT5 is an Apple Mac. You can't use the software on the two. That's the same bloody bit of software, mate. But they don't see it that way. So unfortunately, you can't. Pain in the arse, but nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. Right, so we've got no volume at the moment. So we are trading at the moment inside bars. We've got 2.5 minutes roughly left on these candles. If we can remain inside bar on this candle and the next candle, that would be spectacular, because we will hopefully get a break on the news. But might well get slipped, but we'll see. Durej, happened to me. I had no choice rather than buying. Yeah. The trouble with MQL5 is they're a monopoly on themselves, aren't they? So there's not a lot you can do. Every broker in the world uses MT4 and MT5. If you're trading futures, obviously, you can trade whatever you like. If you're using, and also you can use TradingView with vast majority of brokers as well. But normal brokers supply you with MT4 and MT5. So the two pieces of software they give you a choice of using are by the same company. Monopoly. Nothing you can do. You don't have to, obviously. There's plenty of other charting platforms out there that you can you can put into brokers. But as for ease of getting up and running, download MT4, off you go. That's why brokers use it, because it is simple. Would you suggest taking what profit I have on the US dollar pairs pre-news? Up to you. So I've got some profit running on my US dollar long, 3%. So this is always the decision to make pre-news. Look at what happened with the euro today. What was I looking at? Actually, it was a different one I was looking at. There you go. Euro pound, yeah? So you get a break like that, and then it flies off in the other direction. So if you're long euro pound when that news came out, you probably got stopped out or break-evened on the position before it absolutely flew with you. There's no way you can predict what's going to happen here, right? Either this thing is going to spread massively. It will spread to something like that, probably, just before the news. It will then, if it ticks down a bit, stop you out. If it doesn't, and that news is massively bad on the US dollar, it might just spread and fly and gap. And you could be sitting up here literally within a minute. Yeah, that's the chance you take. Yes, if you want, right now I've got the choice. I could either stick this 3% there and sit on 4% for the day. I can move it to break even, and I can guarantee you with a 99.9% accuracy that if I move this to break even, that is exactly what I will get. Or I will get stopped out lower because of slippage. Or I can sit here and hope this thing flies. Those are your options. I don't know what it's going to do, and it's up to you. Do you need that now? I don't need it. I've banked 10% this month on the account. If I get stopped out at 5%, I've banked 5% on the account this month. This is a bunce account for me, though. This is not my everyday making my living account. So it's a little bit different. There's so much that goes into your decision-making process. You know, it's, but, you know, if I break even this, what I might do, I mean, I could close one out. There's not even any point in doing that. I mean, I'm going to let mine run. We've had negative PMIs for Europe. We've had negative PMIs for the pound. Why won't the US be any different for anybody else? So I'm just hoping that we get a rally and the US dollar drop. Massive turnaround. Only a week back, you're 0.5% in profit. Yeah, exactly. This is what happens, though. This is the way this is the way this goes with position trading, with all trading. Yeah, you do not get paid every day. You get paid when the market moves. Yeah, last 2 days the market's been moving massively. That's why I'm being paid. That's how it goes. You sit here for days and weeks, and you go and scratch this, scratch that, grab this little bit here and there, and then you get these big pops. And all of a sudden, these big pops make you the money. Yeah, you can't control when your money's going to come. The market does. So you get into positions, and when the market does that, you bank it. That's all it is. You know, this is the whole thing with timing. You cannot time the market. So you basically have to get in and hope the market goes in your direction. If it doesn't, with position trading, we just scale in and average into those positions and wait. With stop loss strategies, you get hit, bang, make it all back and more. But if you've just got to survive those hits, and that's the trouble with stop loss strategies, people can't stand losing, which is totally understandable. No one wants to lose. Okay, so we got an inside bar on the 5-minute candle. We're running an inside bar on an inside bar. So these are both 2IB setups at the moment. Pretty much a 2IB there as well. So 2IB setups ahead of the news. We got 1 minute, 50 seconds, and then this thing's going to explode. And then we look at the ADRs and the RSIs. We'll see. I'm not holding out much hope for this. Watch the spread. How long we got? We've got 1 minute. You watch this spread. That's the current spread. We'll have a look at what the current spread is just before this thing goes. It'll be slightly different. Okay. 40 seconds. Still no widening yet. Usually it's about 10 seconds or so before we get a big old wide spread. There we go. So spread's starting to widen. Too bad today. 3 seconds. Put your mind up. That's not really very convincing. Here we go. I'm closing half. Break even on the second. That's not fast enough. Not convinced with that at all. Okay, long everything. Long everything. So this should be negative US. Yeah, 47 and a 51. So both negatives. That's negative US. So we should see long index movement. We should see pound US rising, but we're not. Not getting any volume at the moment. Something's delaying this for some reason. Market does not seem to be reacting to that at all. Flat as a pancake. Blimey. Afternoon, Neo. Got your invite to Jackson Hole, Jimmy? Going to Jackson Hole, are you? That'll be boring. Wow, this is really slow. Euro US dollar is doing a little better, not a lot. Look at the spread on that thing. Christ. I'll trade that. Look at the spread on it. It's huge. Right. So long everything at the minute, but doesn't seem to really be getting any traction. I've got £1,000 to make back from this morning's DAX. Okay, NASDAQ's gone long. Watch this Globex high for the NASDAQ and the S&P upside today. And the Dow as well, obviously. Okay, we've got a little bit more movement now coming on the US. Adjust my target back down. I don't think that's going to get anywhere today. So we are moving up gradually. So we'll see where that goes. So as far as indices are going, or rather not going, doesn't seem like the market's paid any attention whatsoever to that news. So there's your PMIs. Abercrombie and Fitch shares are up 15. Eurozone consumer confidence a little bit down as well. So it's negative news everywhere today. Okay, right. Well, there's nothing much moving on that. So we'll see where these opening range breaks go. But I mean, they're not really breaking. Quite surprised. That was big negatives as well. Look, 48. So we had a 49. We were forecasting to stay the same, 48.9, pretty much 49. We dropped to 47. So that's a 2% drop on the manufacturing and a 1% drop on forecast on services as well. So look at the reaction that we got off of that this morning on the pound. Collapsed 175% ADR across the board on some of these instruments. And then we've got a similar reaction, a similar news event on the US dollar. Not interested. Not batting an eyelid at all, is it? Let's put it back, look. Weird reaction. We'll watch that in a minute. CAD yen, ADR. Right, so let's go through the ADRs today. So Aussie dollar, US dollar, I've just seen it got a reaction to that as well. Let that run. Right, so ADRs today. If you want to have a look at all pairs, I went through all that this morning in the live room in London. So the London review, replay, if you want to watch that this morning, everything that I went through every single pair this morning, did analysis. So if you want to go and have a look at that, there is a hell of a lot of sideways movement at the moment. As you can see by this, we've got a lot of pairs very, very, very stuck. So there's also a lot that are playing out as well. So we've got a weekly range hit now on the pound New Zealand. So there's your weekly range. So we're on Wednesday. That's Monday. Start of the week. So there's your weekly range hit. So we've done our average weekly range and it's Wednesday. We've got a propulsion gap in accumulation coming up, which is also a 50% retracement on that last up leg. So I got out of the pound New Zealand today. I wasn't expecting it to drop anymore. It has done. So we're now down to 150 ADR. You can see there on the pound New Zealand. So that's an ADR hit to the downside. So if you look at where we are currently on this, obviously we're in a nice uptrend after breaking out of this area. So I'm looking basically for a pullback and a new leg up. The pound is still strong, much stronger than the New Zealand dollar, although we'll need to see what happens after these PMIs. Inflation's coming down fast. PMIs are now down. It does take inflationary interest rate pressure off. So we will see what happens. Jackson Hole this week. Yep, it is. So yeah, potentially new leg up. So that is extended. That's its weekly range done. So potentially we could look at a new leg to start right now. So we've got an ADR hit on this at 150 now. So again, same thing as usual, drop down, wait for your 5-minute reversal alert, wait for some buyers to enter, wait for the structure to break long, and then you can try and get in. We have had an ADR hit on this already, so you had an alert back there, and then obviously we've pushed down into new lows. So pound New Zealand is a weekly hit. I'll quickly whiz through all the pounds. They're all the same. So your decision on these ADRs to make is basically, do I want to long against this steam train that's coming in at the minute? So we don't know whether this is just part of a pullback, an aggressive pullback on news, and then we're going to rally for the next leg, or whether we're actually now looking a little bit more bearish on the pound. We'll find out when we get some news out of Bailey, which is very quiet, obviously, at the moment. So all these pounds are ADR hits to the downside. So all ADR hits to the south. We got 125 approaching 150 now on the pound Australian dollar. Yeah. So let's take that weekly off. We don't need that. There's only one weekly. So we're coming down into potential support here. Swiss yen, going to get loads of ADR alerts going off. So there's a potential nice double top resistance there, acted as support a couple of times. So 150 where we are now, potentially you might get some buyers entering the market, so you could play a little quick long up into there. Pound CAD, that's already gone. Same as the pound US, has started to go from that triple bottom bounce. We'll see if it can continue to do that. Very weak, this pound today. Pound Swiss, good looking opportunity there. Look at those wicks. Got lovely wicks, lots of rejection. We're hitting an iceberg order here on the pound against the Swiss franc. So good looking push back up into there. I've already got a long on this one. This is an H1M5 mean reversion entry. So I'll be looking for a push back up into that area there. The pound yen, got out of that one this morning as well. So initial entry was back there somewhere. So that one off, that one, and that one. And obviously it took that off there and that one off there. So nice profit on the pound yen, but it is extended now. So there's a potential for a pullback into propulsion. Pound New Zealand extended to 150. We just covered that one. And the pound US dollar, as we know, is extended to 175 off that double bottom. So nice looking long opportunity there. But you've kind of missed that one. You've just had the reversal alert on that one this morning, which was down there. And now we are not really going anywhere on this news. Very weird reaction, this, to the news. I would expect it to be a little bit more of a mover than we're getting, but at the moment we're not. So there's your pound pairs. They're all extended, but be careful trying to get in front of those today because it is a fundamental news event, PMIs. So there is a chance that we will get a pullback on it, but the pullback will probably be for a new leg down, possibly. Or this is just a profit take move waiting for a next leg up. You never know which it's going to be. So those are your decisions you've got to make. Euros, we've got the euro US dollar. That came straight off ADR. Beautiful move straight down into ADR. Reversal alert, off you go. Very quick one. There was an alert here as well on that candle there. That was your initial alert, but we had pushed down and just about put a new low in. So there's your W there. And we're pushing up back into propulsion. Stopped at the minute. So euro US dollar, euro yen also hit to the downside. That's collapsing. I've got one long on that. That's an H1M5 mean reversion entry. So again, another potential long opportunity there. Got out the shorts on the euro yen yesterday. Flipped back long. Euro pound, that's the biggest one of the day. Well, it's not actually now. Pound yen is, but was the biggest one of the day. Straight up into a double top short. Looking for it to come back down into these propulsion. Then obviously it will go where it wants to go. So we had the news on the euro, obviously dropped the euro PMIs, and then that news on the pound absolutely killed it. I think the reason we've had this big move on the pound, which is much bigger than all these other PMIs, is because the market was expecting the pound to go long. We were expecting more interest rate rises on the pound. We've had figures coming out getting slightly better on inflation, i.e. inflation dropping. These PMIs have been kind of the nail in the coffin, really, to confirm that, yes, inflation is dropping fast now. So I think the market's been caught a little off guard, which is why we've had this overreaction, but likely is an overreaction. So I suspect these will probably mean revert. Which way we'll go from here, though, we need to wait for Bailey to confirm. Euro CAD, big strong push off of ADR. So there you go. There's your hit straight down into ADR off the news, straight back up again. But you wouldn't have got into that because the reversal alert would have been here. Oh, no, you got one down there. So the initial reversal alert was up there. We accumulated for a good couple of hours. So it's flicked down. There's your end pattern and off. But that's obviously the move on the Canadian news. And you've got Euro on isn't. So the others are the Swiss yen. That's down at ADR, just hit ADR. So that one you've got potential for an entry long. There's your reversal alert. So once we get that break of structure to the upside, potential for that one to move up as well. CAD yen, that's extended to 150 ADR, sorry. So your reversal alert's going in potentially there. Push back up into that move. All of these yens, basically, everything's come down against the yen today. So we were looking for that 145 level to see if it would hold with the yen on the US dollar yen, which we'll look at in a second. But these yens have all had pretty good strong moves. Pound odd 150 ADR. So we got continuation movement down to the downside on the pound odd. Still going. CAD Swiss has also hit again to the downside. That's already bounced back off. And Aussie CAD was the other one. Oil's also hit as well. So Aussie CAD absolutely flying. Look at that reaction to the Canadian dollar. Wow. Really didn't like that CAD. Where's the CAD retail gone then? Well, that wasn't there. That was there a minute ago when I looked. Not was there earlier when I looked. So the core retail sales were a negative, but the average retail sales month on month were up ever so slightly. But the core retail sales is what tends to drive everything. So that was quite a big miss, but I'm surprised the Canadian dollar had such a big reaction to retail. It doesn't usually impact the market quite that much. We've got house sales coming out in a second. So yeah, big moves. That Aussie dollar CAD off the back of the Canadian. That's just coming up into a resistance by the looks of things. So that's not really a great area. Probably something we looked at previously, but pound odd RSI extension. So yeah, Aussie dollar CAD hits the upside. That is negative. That is weak. So Aussie dollar is much weaker than the Canadian dollar. So this could well just be a pullback on that leg down. I would wait for an RSI extension though if you want to short it, but it is an RSI. Sorry, an ADR. I'd wait for an RSI extension to short it, but that is an ADR hit. So you could take a short off of ADR. New Zealand dollar yen is also hit. US dollar CAD off the news, but US dollar yen is the main one I wanted to look at. So this is what we were looking at, this 145 level. Yeah. So the previous intervention that we had all the way back in September was at 145. So the Japanese warned us at 145. If we didn't stop selling the yen, they would intervene. They did. The market then ignored that and pushed up to 150. They then started saying, if you breach 150, we will intervene. They did, and then the market took account of it, and then they slammed us home and went, thank you very much. We went back to that 145 level where the initial intervention from September happened. Market reacted. So this is a year ago. So we got the intervention, or we got the market drop. We hit that level again. We got a small reaction to it, and then the market pushed through and has held for a week up there. Now we've broken back down below it again. So it does look to me as if this might be a long multi-day M pattern before we start a new leg down. And that is where we'll be going down to 138 roughly. So there's a big potential drop on this. So all these yens that have triggered longs that I've got on now, there's only one actually, I think. Yeah, the euro yen has triggered a long. I'm going to keep that on, but I get the feeling that might be one that goes into drawdown, especially after those PMI figures today. So I'm going to keep it on and just manage it. But I'd be a bit wary about trying to long anything against the yen at the minute. So just be careful if you do. We have dropped now below that 145 level off the back of that news. We've broken that low, and so I'll be getting out of my US dollar yens down there. Potentially then this thing could be coming back down again. So the market does not want to go above that 145. It really tried hard when we broke that level to make a new high, and we didn't. We came down and we made a lower low. We pushed up, made a lower high, and now we've made a lower low. So that is a obvious market structure break and hold to the downside. So we are starting to break back down on all of these yens. So doesn't mean you can't long it, because obviously as we come down, we're going to do that. So you've got plenty of opportunities to get out. However, there is the chance that we might get something like this, in which case, as you can see, you might need to take 4 or 5 entries before you exit the position. But we'll see. So those are your ADRs. There's loads of them. The pound is the main culprit today. Those PMI figures were way worse than expected, so that's dropped harder than expected. So we'll see where we go with those. There's a few RSIs to look at. I'm just going to quickly switch back to the indices and just see where we are. So longs on the S&P and longs on the NASDAQ doing well. Close to TP on that. Just going to watch this candle close. We've got 1 minute to go. So we're up at the Globex highs on the S&P. So watch for resistance bounces here. The NASDAQ, we've broken Globex, but it's struggling to make progress. And I'm so close to TP. I'm just going to get ready to exit this because I've got $1,500. I've got a $1,000 loss from the DAX this morning to take into account. So that puts me up for the day. And then I might just let the S&P run because it's the same thing basically. 10 seconds. Yeah, it's not got much legs. So I'm just going to put my stops just under the lower that candle. So we're either going to pause and turn here, or we're just pausing before we break for a new leg up. If that's the case, fine. I'm going to TP and we'll carry on with the second position. S&P, US 30. S&P, we're running into potential resistance there as well. I want to see if that breaks that resistance. Upside target on this, if we do break, is yesterday's high. But we have stalled, which means there are orders sitting at those highs. Just want to see if they can run it. See if this US dollar is still coming down, which it is. So there is downside momentum on the US dollar, which is upside momentum on indices. So there is still a chance these indices are going to rally today. Just need to see them break. I want to see a pop. Yeah, I want to see this like fly quickly. There we go, a little jump, pop through. So basically that's all these limit orders triggering here, puking and flipping the opposite direction. So we get a quick flurry of orders going long. There we go. Which means the NASDAQ's probably hit target. Oh, not quite. Didn't quite get out the high. Running out of steam a little bit. The Dow Jones can't make much progress today. So the Dow's kind of, as you can see, the Dow's like wicks. Tons and tons of downside wicks. We have managed to push up a little bit, but look at the size of the wick pushing down. Yeah, there's a lot of resistance to going north on the Dow today, which is slightly worrying because if there's resistance on the Dow, we may well get the other indices struggling to go long because the Dow can't get any momentum. If the sector purchase is going on, this is going to drop as well. So, and it's coming down off the Globex highs. I think I'm just going to shut these here. Tell you what I'll do. I'm going to do the same thing with these. I'm just going to protect it. The only reason I'm doing this is it's an obvious resistance bounce. We are getting resistance at that level, and the Dow is not able to make any traction. And I've got this $1,000 from this morning I've got to lose off of the DAX. So there we go. So stopped out on the S&P. Still in the NASDAQ. But basically that $1,000 is now paid for that. So whatever I bank on the NASDAQ is profit for the day. The Dow is flat at the minute. So I'll manage the Dow. See where that goes. Struggling, aren't we? Struggling to find buyers up there. We're also struggling to sell this US dollar, look. Considering that was a massive negative news event for the US dollar, this has really not got any momentum at all today. I'm just waiting for this all to collapse back the opposite direction and the US dollar to just rally for no reason. Just doesn't seem like it wants to drop. It's trying, but it's just not able to get there, is it? It's going now. It's basically it's 1R on that, so I mean I'm happy with that. That'll do. We can get that one on. I can get runner on the NASDAQ if we can get that TP hit. The runner is obviously going to be up at yesterday's high. Sorry, no, we're at yesterday's high. Sorry, on the NASDAQ. This is yesterday's high as well. So TP1 for me at the moment today is yesterday's high. So we need to watch this area for resistance as well. That's why those limit orders are triggering there, because they're trying to sell that. So if we break that level on the NASDAQ, sky's really the limit. So ADR really as upside. So I'll put my second TP just shy of ADR. So if we do get to ADR, obviously we've done our range for the day. So we will probably find we start getting a little tired up there. Can't get there, look. Struggling badly. Never mind. If you didn't check oil yet, I haven't done that yet. No, that's on my list. I'm going to do that in a second. Strange market and good rallied too. Just not worth taking a risk on. Might as well just let it. It's either going to die or it's going to pop. It's one of those days where you look at you watching it and you're thinking, this is something's bubbling here. This is either you can see the buyers are, there's a lot of movement. Yeah, I've mentioned this in the live room before. You can see the candles are ticking like this a lot. So there's TP hit. They're ticking. There's a hell of a lot of volume coming in, but there's not a lot of movement. So what this is basically is buyers and sellers putting tons and tons of volume into positions and getting themselves positions long and short. One side is going to run out. And because there's so much volume there, it's like a little powder keg. As soon as one of those sides lose, they puke their orders and flip. And that's when you get the explosive move. If it happens to be the sellers, because we've come out of a rally, you tend to get a quick bang, bang, bang. Exactly the same as happened on the DAX this morning. Look. Yeah. So we pushed up, we hit a resistance. We tried to get through it. The sellers took control. We pushed up, we hit resistance at yesterday's high. So the sellers were stepping in hard here. The buyers tried to push through, got pushed back again. That was the resistance line we looked at. Sellers took control, bang. That's your explosive move. So there's loads of volume going in, but they can't make any progress. So they just go, screw this, I'm out. And it pops. Exactly what I'm doing and what I've just done with the S&P. Screw this, it doesn't look like it's going, I'm out. I was in profit, but I've had to short it to exit the position, obviously, which is what everybody does, and then it, boom, comes down hard. So TP hit on the NASDAQ. That will be trade. I'm going to trail that by 1.8. I'm not going to get greedy with that. I'm going to trade it by 1R 376. So I'm just going to trail this up by 1R and get out on the next pullback. That guarantees me pretty much $2,000-ish on that one. And then just need to hope that the Dow gets a rally. Right. Pound US dollar still not able to get anywhere at all. Totally stuck. Right, RSIs. Let's do oil first. So oil came down. We broke these lows. So very weird movement on oil today. The inventories are coming out in 15 minutes. So we haven't even had the oil inventories yet. So this thing's going to move in 15 minutes. Wednesday, 3:30 every week, oil inventories. We were looking at this as support. We hit it. And we basically popped through it on that US dollar move and the CAD move. All the moves we've had today on everything has shaken oil up a little bit. So looking at levels, we've got this level here. Yeah, which is that propulsion gap, which is 150 ADR to the downside. Other than that, it's back down to this low here, which is miles away, 300 ADR or so. We're not getting down there today. But it has rejected the highs. So looking at the range, I need to look at the 4-hour chart really for this. But looking at the range high, yeah, the previous support resistance that we had, yeah, they have rejected it. And we have now put in a lower high and a lower low. So the reversal alert that we had there on the 4-hour and retest at the previous high of the range has held. We've pushed down. We put in a new low. So there's your high, lower low. Now we've put in a lower high. Now we've put in a lower low. So the next move is up for a lower high. Market structure shifted to the downside. So at some point, obviously, when market structure shifted to the downside, it then puts in a reversal alert and shifts back up to the upside. So the question is, how far are we going down before we rally again? Aussie dollar CAD 125 ADR still going. So we were looking at pullbacks on this, and I said about this being a 38 retracement is what I was looking for. That's exactly what we've just had, 38 retracement. Yeah, so there's your 38 retracement. There's that wick just around where that was, that high. I said, you know, on this move, if we're going to get a shallow pullback for a new leg up to that $95 a barrel, which is what the target from Goldman Sachs is, we should be looking at a 38 retracement to a 50 retracement for a long. So that is it. So if you want to get long, this is where potentially, if you're doing a shallow pullback play, that's where you're going to get in. So we've just had the reverse alerts going on that. Pound odd 175 ADR. Pound is not happy. This is why this pound US dollar is not moving. This pound is collapsing still. It's just not able to. Got a strong Aussie and a strong New Zealand at the moment as well. So yeah. So this is basically, you're just about to get a reversal alert, although it hasn't triggered yet. So there is your reversal alert. You can't see that very clearly on the chart, but it's there. So when we break that high and hold above that high, that is your structure break. So potentially that's where we're going to go from. In 14 minutes before this candle closes, we've got the oil inventory news. So that will tell us whether or not we're going to continue short or whether this is actually where we're going to break from this 38 retracement. So it's a good looking long opportunity from here. However, as we said this morning when we were analyzing this morning, what you could do is put an initial play off of this low and then take a second entry somewhere down here if we get down. So if oil inventories come out and it drops, second entry there, average in and get out on the push back up. But the push back up, 83 to 84 is our interim target. But don't forget the actual target is $95 a barrel. So if this is going to be a pullback on the way up to the target, you got absolutely tons and tons and tons of room to the upside. So lots and lots of opportunity on oil. But equally, this could be high of the range. As we've seen all year, this is the range high. We've tested it 4 times. This could be the 5th test, and all we're going to do is come back down to range lows again. So this could literally just do that for the next 3 months. Yeah, as long as it wants to, basically. But that's where we are. So we're either breaking it here or we're holding the highs, which means next target is 67 again. Difficult. Anyway, that's all. So one of those two things is going to happen. I can guarantee you that. Which one? I don't know. Primus, I make great money with your indicators. My worst enemy is sleep. Good one. There's drugs for that. I've made almost 100,000 in 2 weeks on demo. I trade with 40 lots because I'm only allowed to trade 100 to 1. Blimey. Good job. Let me just see what this pound. I'm going to sneeze. Okay, pound US dollars rallying. So we are. Look at, we're trying so hard to get up here, but it's just not able to get there. So if the pound US dollar is going up, means the US dollar is coming down. If the US dollar is coming down, we'd expect the indices to rise. They're not. Market's really out of whack today. So it's been, I think it's been a bit too shaken up by a bit too much news today. It's running out of the will to live, as I am at the moment. But we'll see. This Dow's struggling. Right, let's quickly look at the RSIs. So there's quite a few RSI extensions. You've got some 4-hour extensions here. These are only just extended. So they are extended below the 30 levels on the 4s. So we'll have a quick look at them. Euro Swiss, just down below that 30 level. The 4-hour RSIs, it's difficult to, at the moment, because we got quite tight ranges, it's difficult really to have any faith in this 30 RSI, because what we seem to do is not get the pullbacks at the moment. So that's a lovely double bottom bounce on the Euro Swiss, though. We'll look at it on the hourly as well in a minute, or might as well look at it now while we're on, because it's also extended on the hourly. So you've got a double bottom bounce there. It's obviously in a nice downtrend at the moment. It's holding the 24 MA very nicely. So we are contracting down into a wedge. So if we push back up, there's every chance that we're going to break to the downside on it. That doesn't mean you can't trade that, though. So that is extended on the 4-hour. So if you drop down to M15, you've just had your reversal alert on that one, on M15. So there's your entry long. And play it back up somewhere into that propulsion gap, probably. Let's look on the hourly. Yeah, up into 125 ADR into that propulsion gap. So nice looking little long opportunity off of support up into there. Euro US dollar, that's extended on the 4-hour, not extended on the hourly though yet. It's already gone. It's extended. It's just literally, it's just tapped into the 30 and gone. So it's not any good. Euro Swiss, we just looked at that one. Euro yen extended to the downside. So there's your 4-hour extension. Obviously, this is a massive long. So we are pulling back into the 24. If the 24 doesn't work, scale in down to the 72 and take the next bounce. So that is assuming we obviously continue this yen weakness, which we don't know. So see what happens. But nice extension there. We've got an extension on the hourly as well. So I've taken the first position on that one. H1 extended, M5 reversal, that was there. It's pushed down further, pushing back up again now. So I'm looking to play it back up into these lows, ideally into that propulsion gap. We may well hit that level and then bounce back down. If that's the case, we'll obviously need to scale into it a little bit, but we'll see. Euro US dollar and pound odd. Euro US dollar extended to the downside on the 4-hour. Yeah, so that's a nice potential bounce off of this level here. It's hit ADR today and obviously bounced back up again. You've got another low coming up down there. That's kind of about 300 ADR. So again, euro really not doing very well. I'm very surprised the US dollar hasn't collapsed more, to be honest, off the back of those PMIs. So not quite sure what to make of that one, but only just extended and come off of that extension as we saw. Pound odd, nice drop. So again, looking potentially for this being just a pullback long. Yeah, no confirmation from Bailey. I don't know when we're going to get it, to be honest, about interest rates. But yeah, pound at the moment is long. Your Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar are shorts. So that looks like a good pullback long entry. You are extended down there. Pound odd also extended on the hourly. So I'll be taking a long on that one when we get the next 5-minute reversal alert. Yeah, so it's an RSI extension on the hourly. So we should be getting a reversal alert on that any second by the looks of things. Nope, big drop. So that's going to be the entry there. I could do that just dropping down a little bit more so I can get the entry down here, but it is. And the pound yen massively extended to the downside. Again, same as all the others. Obviously, yen's been weak, is still weak. 24 bounce, continuation. Again, need to see if this hold on the US dollar yen is going to happen. Yeah, are they going to hold that 45 and break and drop, same as we had before? Or is this just going to be a little bit of a pullback on the 24.72 bounce to continue up, which is exactly what we've had so far? That was a very big drop. But that was the Japanese basically shooting across the bow saying they were going to intervene. We didn't get the intervention, did we? So the Japanese haven't said anything here. So there's absolutely no reason why they should drop it. They might as well just keep on rallying. But we're going to need a strong US dollar for that. We just had negative PMIs. It's very hard to read all of this at the minute. And it's summer months. So obviously you get slippage everywhere. CAD yen. So looking at the hourlies, obviously the pound, let's go back up from the bottom. Pound New Zealand, hourly RSI extension, not quite on that 25 level yet, very close. It is a 150, and it is a previous high, not a great one. So that's the high of 2 weeks ago. So we closed at the highs. We accumulated around the highs for 2 days before we went off, and that propulsion gap was formed. And that's where they're adding into the positions by the looks of things. So this could well be, as I say, just a continuation move to the upside. So that's a good H1M5 mean reversion entry to take. Not quite extended enough for me. Pound yen, that is. So I will be into that one. Any minute now. Literally any minute now, we're going to get a reversal out on this. I'm going long on the pound yen. At least get that gap fill. Pound Swiss, same thing. Already long. There you go. There's the first entry on that one. So I'm in. So the entry for me was there. So there was a reversal alert there this morning. And then we pushed down, put in a new low. There's our second entry and the retest. And now we're off. Pound odd. H1 extension. So again, I'll be getting into this one long. That's a beauty. Look at that. So straight into that propulsion gap. Bounce. So yeah, I'll be getting into that one shortly as well. Should get a reversal alert on that in a minute. Oh, it's miles away. So again, very hard to get into these. Reversal alerts are so far away. It's going to be such a delayed entry on these pound pairs, but nothing you can do about it. You could just take a price action entry now, but it's obviously a little bit more risky because you've got no confirmation of the buyers. But pound odd is extended. Euro yen already in that first entry off the H1 extension. You can take a second entry now, or well, not take a second entry, but if you miss the first one, you can take the second one here. At least pushing up into that propulsion gap. I'm going to go for the run up there because it's not much profit for me to get out here, but watch what happens to price when you get to that ADR level, when we get back up to this low just before that break. So that propulsion gap, likely they're going to sell out of it, but we'll see. If they don't, they'll probably sell out of there. That is assuming this yen does not just completely collapse, and this is a one-off move. Euro Swiss just about extended on the hourly, not quite enough for me. That's just rallying now, so there's a lovely push going back off that one. And CAD yen, big extension. CAD yen, you got a nice support coming up down here. You've got this propulsion move, which is kind of part of a V-shaped recovery, so not a great propulsion gap. Has been tested though, so I suspect more likely we're going to come back down into this area here and retest this. So that would be perfect. It is extended on the hourly though, so I will be taking the next reversal alert on this one when we get it, if we get it. So if we break back up above there today, I shall be long. If we continue going down, I'll get long on it tomorrow at some point. There you go. There's your RSIs. Still long on the NASDAQ. Dow's just stuck. Looks like my charts are stuck as well. Bear with me 1 sec. Right, just waiting for these charts to unstick. I was just making sure it hadn't moved very much, and it hasn't. So yeah, we're still holding up there. Good wicks going in on the Dow. So market structure's holding fairly well on this, but it's just not very convincing, is it? I may, depending on what happens with the DAX, take this Dow off at a break even. If we can rally up a little bit more and get that TP hit just before we get up to ADR on the NASDAQ, if the DAX is approaching this Globex high, I'll exit the DAX here, the Dow rather here. If the Dow is sitting around break-even point, I'll probably just close it out for a break-even. Just locks in that profit then, basically. That's paid for that. That's guaranteed 2.5K. If I can get a break-even on that, 2.5 grand a day, which we'll do. I got really itchy nose. I had this morning. It's something to do. I've got the fan on in the back because it's absolutely roasting in here today. And I think it's something to do with the fan kind of wafting my left nostril. Obviously need to get the old nasal hair thing out and go like that. Hope nobody's eating. Mr. Lunacy, how is your testing with the index scalper coming along? It's not. I haven't had a chance to do much. This is it. You're seeing it play out in front of you in live. I've made 15 grand over the last 2 days, and I'm 2.5 grand up so far today. Doing all right. But I haven't had any chance to do any more testing because it's school holidays over here in the UK. So the days off have not been days off. They've been days off of everything. So not just days off the live room. I've been taking days off. So I haven't had much chance to do any testing. That will all recommence in September. Sorry, I just want to chop my nose off. Can you check New Zealand dollar Swiss? Can do. Oh, you just missed my TP, look. Yeah. Look at that. I'm just going to reduce the stop loss on this. Get that stop up tight. I'll lock in some more profit. So locking in another 2%. 2% doesn't seem like enough. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to trail it tight and just put the TP up there. So that would be 6.5%. I've already banked 5 off of it. So I'm going to lock in a tight trailer. Lock in another 2%. So this would be 7% off this long trade. Sorry, what was that? New Zealand dollar Swiss. So New Zealand dollar Swiss, we've been completely sideways now for nearly 2 weeks. I've got 2 positions on this at the minute. First entry off that H1 extension. It literally just got to 25. Literally got to 25 at the spread, at the overnight swap. And I got triggered in on the overnight swap. So it wasn't a proper reversal alert either, although it was obviously very, very extended. So I didn't mind getting into it. Since then, we went sideways for 3 days. We had a push down by an ADR, took a second entry. Since that second entry, we've been going sideways for 5 days. So I'm long at the moment. This has been very orderly. Yeah, as you can see on this, literally, there's been 3 trades on it here in the last, what's this, since July. This is 4th of July. Yeah, so pretty much 2 months. So I had a short there. Nice and easy one. I had a long there, straight in, straight out. I had a long there, 2 entries out. That's it. So it's just a case of waiting for it to get an ADR move. It's not aggressively dropping and it's not able to rally. So all you need is a little bit of a move. It is a negative, yeah. So the New Zealand dollar is weak at the moment. So is the Australian dollar. The Swiss franc is always able to get strength, but with the euro dropping as well, the Swiss franc isn't particularly strong either. So this is why you're getting a lot of multiple sideways day movements, because you've got a negative against a negative, which equals a range. Yeah, there's no fundamental bias that gives us a direction on this. So all that we get is a little bit of news which moves the market, and then it sits there battling itself. And obviously all the news that we've had has been negative for the Aussie and the New Zealand. Yeah, so again, they froze their interest rates. Bang. Now we're sitting waiting for the next news event for the New Zealand dollar. So not going anywhere. It's going down, obviously, but from a position trading perspective, doesn't matter which way you go. I'm long at the moment in profit on it, but it's not enough money. Oh, it's a couple of $100. I mean, I can take this off and still be exposed long on the New Zealand dollar Swiss, because if I remove that New Zealand and remove that Swiss, I've still got New Zealand dollar Swiss long on in the form of the pound Swiss long and euro New Zealand short. So it's double exposed, obviously, on that. So I could bank that and just ride the pound Swiss and the euro New Zealand, which gives me the same result basically, but it's not really going anywhere, so leave it. Am I on holiday next week? I am, AZ. If you look on the website, go to the live room. There's a whacking great message there now. There are no live rooms from Monday the 28th of August to Friday the 1st of September. Back on the 4th of September. I only put that up today. Hamza, pound odd at 150 ADR. Are you telling me or asking me? Pound odd is at 175 ADR on my charts. So yeah, 150, 175. You can see mine has literally, look, that's 175 ADR. Yeah, there's the wicks. So literally I've hit 175 ADR by a micro pip. But yeah, 150 definitely. Big moves on these pounds, as you would expect. Big PMI drops. But lovely mean reversion opportunities as well. Out of the pound US dollar, 8%, same as yesterday. Hey, look at this week. 3.83%, 9.9%, minus 5.3%, 8%, 8%. And you know what the weird thing is? And this will throw you. This is how random trading is. Who was it? Are you in here this afternoon? It was Wayne this morning. Go and watch the live replay from this morning. Wayne said, going about the news. No, it was this morning, wasn't it? No, it was at this session. Or was it in Telegram? I can't remember where it was because we were bored in Telegram posting a load of crap, weren't we? This is how much fun we've had in Telegram today. This is me being bored. I was just posting images of people, you know, all these gurus that sell their trading courses that don't know what the hell they're doing, which is pretty much all of them. They all have pictures like this everywhere. Like, I've no idea what I'm going to have for dinner tonight, but I'll look at these squiggly lines for a bit. He's got loads of moving averages on his chart. They don't move moving averages. Waiting for my boss to come in. I'm so happy. I've no idea why, and I don't know what any of this stuff is. That's basically what he's saying. I told you to clean the screen properly. Do it next time. Hey, I thought this pinch and zoom made me money. Maybe it doesn't. So that's what we've been doing. If I take a photo of this chart, maybe I'll figure out what it does when I get home tonight. Yeah, these are the pictures you see all over these trading gurus. And this bloke, I don't even know who he is. But seriously, would you buy something from a man with a haircut like that and a top like that? Hopefully he's not in the room. But anyway, you know who he is. Don't tell him. But somebody posted about pound US dollar something, and I basically said, oh, that looks like a good long. So I basically took this trade because somebody in Telegram mentioned it, and I thought, oh, that looks good. So all I did basically was, and this is how random trading is and how much it matters about your system or strategy. He made me look at this chart at exactly the right time when we were sitting down here, and I said, oh, that's a triple bottom. So I looked at it and went, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll drop down to M15 and I'll stick a pending order above the M15 candle. It triggered. And I said, brilliant. It's going my way. When we get a reversal alert, I'll add one. So the reason I made 8% today was for no other reason than some random bloke in Telegram told me to go and look at a chart. No system, no strategy. Support, resistance, bounce. Works, doesn't work. Risk this, make that. It's literally that simple. There is absolutely no strategy involved in this whatsoever. It's totally random. You press the button. If it goes your way, you make money. If it goes the other way, you don't. You've just got to control your risk and your reward. If you're using a stop loss. If you're position trading, we don't care about risk and reward, do we? We just make money regardless of what happens. It doesn't make any difference. We just make less of it. There you go. Good example of next time someone says, I've got this secret sauce strategy that only the banks know about and you need to pay me $1,000 for it. Some bloke in Telegram that comes into my live rooms told me about a pair. I happened to look at it at a time and hit a button. Shit, made 8%. There you go. Welcome to trading. 101. I have to ask, are you personal account with RoboForex? Yes. The gurus are hilarious. Missing the Lambos. Well, I've got my own Lambo, so I don't really need Lambos. If you want Lambos, you go to that other bloke. I can't remember what his name is on YouTube. The guy with all the tattoos. He's got a Lambo. Maybe he hasn't, actually. I don't know what he's got. I can't remember what his name is, but anyway. There's loads of them. What's the other one? Warrior. This is the one, look. This is the one I was thinking of. You must know about the ginger guy, Warrior Trading, right? This is one of the ones, this guy. He trades penny stocks, basically. Just don't go there. I'm trying to hide it on the screen. You can see the screen. But look, this is what I'm talking about. This is because we were saying I was going to get a photo of myself in front of my trading platform because we were talking about how many monitors you need, looking at all the charts. And I said, I used to have all that stuff. I used to have a setup like this. Yeah, that was my previous setup. On this desk I'm sitting at right now, I had the majors there, the main pairs, two-screen multi-time frame analysis. I had Euro and Pound up there, Aussie, New Zealand, the Yen pairs over there. I had all my P&Ls up there for all my accounts. I used to talk to people on Telegram down here. You cannot look at all of this stuff. You need one monitor, one screen, one chart, and an alert system. That's all you need to be able to trade, because I can sit there and look at all this stuff, right? But basically what I'm doing while I'm sitting looking at this stuff is that. Because I can only look at one chart at a time. So the fact that I can see everything around me makes absolutely no difference to your profitability at all. One chart, one platform, that's it. Look, there you go. This is the one I posted. Look. So this is what I posted in the Telegram group. After I posted that, the guy said to me, look at where we are. And I posted this chart and said, oh, this looks like a good bounce. It's probably going to bounce here and push up into this area, into this propulsion gap. On the hourly chart. Yeah. So there you go. That's the chart, basically, that I posted in Telegram earlier. Pushing up into this propulsion gap. For no other reason than some bloke said, go and have a look. That's what you need to be able to trade. You don't need a monitor with 1,000 screens with 1,000 charts. All that does is give you way too much information and you will never be able to figure out what the hell's going on. Get an alert system and a strategy that works. RSI dash, ADR dash, not on this one because it's a wrong account. ADR dash tell you when the market's extended on intraday basis. RSI dash to tell you when it's extended on a multi-day basis. Just get in. You have no idea if it's going up or down. Just get in. If you're not in, you can't make money. I don't know if you mean me, Peter. Was it? I don't know if it was you. I have said now seriously, GU is nearly done. V-shaped recovery on the daily. It might have been you, Peter. I can't remember who it was. I remember speaking to Wayne this morning. Yeah, no, it was you. I know it was you, Peter. Well done. Look, here's the post. And that was my reply. And I took it. Thank you for that, 8%. I owe you a beer. Actually, I owed Wayne a beer this morning for something else, didn't I? I owe everybody beers. But yeah, so don't listen to these blokes because all they do is sit in front of all this crap, which is utterly useless to them because they can only look. You can only use these little glasses to look at that. You can't look at it all at once. What's the point in having it? Waste of time. I loved my setup. It was beautiful. I sat there and went, oh, I'm a professional trader. And then I realized that all that were happening was every time I got an alert on my dashboard, I would look at that monitor and then come back. So why not just have one monitor with one chart? Because when I get the alert on the dashboard here, all I do is go like that rather than like that. So I'm saving myself a hand movement, which burns calories and keeps me nice and slim. There we go. Missing the rental property and the ground jet. Yeah, I know. I should really by now be a millionaire, but I'm not. Not the shoes. Who's that? Shoes? What shoes? Oh, on the yeah, on my Lambo. Yeah, the gold shoes. Got to get everything gold. You have to ask the question, right? Let's say this is Greg Secker. It's not, obviously. It's John Wick, and not a very good John Wick at that. But let's say this is Greg Secker standing in front of whatever car he is or his house, etc. An accident. You've got to ask the question, if he's got enough time to spend in front of all of this stock, when does he trade? Putting it out there. I'm bored. Russ Cameron, yeah. That's the name. I have nothing against Ross. It's Ross Cameron, not Russ Cameron. Ross. I have nothing against Ross or anybody that teaches people stuff, but they don't do anything for free, do they? I was checking charts on the mobile phone while I had a customer in Uber. See, look, Peter's making money on a mobile phone, and that is the one thing I say to people. You cannot make money trading on a mobile phone, yet Peter is sitting there doing exactly that in an Uber, which is fantastic. Euro New Zealand's just getting close to needing a profit take. And it's not. I've already done it this morning, sorry. Just toying with the idea of taking this off, banking it. It's a really small profit, but it's I'm going on holiday next week. What I don't want to be is here on Friday. I'd rather be flat on Friday. So I'm just going to close this. You don't have to close this if you're in it. I think there's a lot more upside. See this low here? We push down to there, and then we push down to here. So there's this big area here of movement, which if we do break here, we're probably going to test this propulsion gap, maybe the bottom of that propulsion gap. I'm TPing up there, which is going to be roughly twice as much profit. But because I'm going away, I want to try and get as flat as I can before I go. So I'm going to just close out that New Zealand dollar Swiss because I'd rather have it in the bank. And then just see what happens to the others. I've still got New Zealand dollar Swiss long on because I'm still short Swiss franc and long New Zealand on 2 other pairs. So exposure's still the same. You owe him a whole keg. Yeah, I do. But it's only 8% on a 10K account. That's the thing. This is not a big account. This is only a little 10K account. Well, it was a 10K account. It's now a $12,800 account. But it's only a small account. Community meeting with beers on Lee. Sounds great. Yeah, we can do that. I have to find somewhere to go. NAS going higher. I haven't looked at the index. I'm not concentrating at all. Right, yeah, NAS is going higher. So just trailing that up. TP2 is at 4R, which is underneath resistance. Shouldn't have got out of the S&P. This is what trailing stops do to you people. So yeah, just going to trail that up to there, which is 4R. That is the resistance we're coming up to, which is basically ADR and that propulsion gap. Could well go beyond ADR today. It's certainly rallying hard, isn't it? So, but you know, look, we don't tend to rally that hard. Look at measured moves is something which is really important in trading, which is what we use ADR for. ADR is basically just a measured move, isn't it? So, but look at what we do typically on a daily basis when we're having a big run, movement-wise. Yeah. So look at what we've done today. Look at what we did yesterday. Look at what we did the day before. Look at what we did the day before. Look at the size of those moves. Yeah, probably starting to run out of steam, aren't we? Because that's typically what we're able to do, which is what ADR is there for. We're approaching ADR, which is the average daily range of the last 10 days. So this is why ADR is used to measure movement, because you need to measure what this does on average rather than pips and everything else. So, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove the TP on that. And just going to leave that trailing. So it's $1,400 locked in. So that puts me on $2,500 locked in on that. Paid that. So I've just got to worry about the Dow, which is now in profit. So I'll be watching the Globex high for a reaction. Look how much movement we've put in compared to the NASDAQ and the S&P. This at any point could just boom, boom, boom. So when the NASDAQ and the S&P start their profit take moves, i.e. we've done basically today, we're exhausted, we need to put in a profit take move. Yeah, when they start their profit take moves, that's going to put pressure on the Dow to drop. And the Dow hasn't actually made a rally yet. So when the other indices come down, that's going to have pressure on it. So probably time to start thinking about maybe exiting this if you're still in it, because it's not really going anywhere. We'll see. Watch it up to there. If we can get up to there, obviously, I'll take that off. Some Photoshop Lee's face on the guy. No, don't. NAS going further, not stopping at the moment. NVIDIA must have posted great results, probably. One of them. S&P almost up to yesterday's high. Yeah, 3K for his course. Last I saw. Was that for Ross's? Yeah. I mean, this is the thing with these courses. The guys that do all the marketing sell their courses for somewhere between 2 to 3K. not because they're better courses. Yeah, everybody's assumption is they've got the flashy website, they've got the big money courses, therefore they must be the best. The reason the courses are 2 to 3K is because they spend all the money on the marketing. They didn't market it, they could sell the thing for $50. It's exactly worth that, because all it does is it teaches you another strategy which you're going to fail at, because it's just what you do. You system hop through different strategies looking for something that works, and none of it works, because if it worked, these guys wouldn't be sitting there doing that, selling courses. They'd be trading. If they've got a live trading room where, like this, where they constantly put all the trades out there and show you everything every day going on, brilliant. But they don't, do they? They do live sessions, and they do lots of videos on YouTube, but that's all cherry picked. So, you know, it's the only reason the courses are expensive is not from a quality perspective, it's from a paying for the marketing cost perspective, which is fair enough. That's business. That's what businesses do. That's why Greg Secker's got all those houses and cars, because he's got the most successful training company in the world. Does it make his course good? Does it make you a profitable trader? No. It makes him a lot of money, which is great. I love it. Recently met a family making a fortune by renting high-end cars, probably to fake traders. Exactly. Closing the NASDAQ, Brian. I can see why you would have done that in there. 15 minutes sideways, same as the S&P basically. What's the difference between MT4 and MT5? Do your indicators work better on one than the other? Yeah, MT4. So MT4 basically and MT5 are very, 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 very similar. The difference between MT4 and MT5 is the GUI, the graphical user interface on MT5 is a lot more resource heavy and hungry. It was developed for the futures trading. So they needed to incorporate multiple chart types into it, tick charts, footprint charts, volume profiles, all this sort of stuff, which requires high graphical user interfaces, which MT4 doesn't have. So they developed MT5 as a replacement for MT4 to incorporate futures and become a one-stop shop. What they didn't factor into it was the fact that there are 1,000 other platforms out there that are amazing at futures, and they're not. So MT5 is basically a waste of time. Some people like it, some people use it, but all brokers still offer MT4 and MT5. And if you're with a broker that only offers MT5 or a prop firm that only offers MT5, dump them, because they are the minority. Go and get one that uses MT4. So MT4 is stable. There are more indicators out there for free for it. The marketplace has more indicators available for it. It's faster. It's better. It's just better. The backtesting engine isn't quite as good as MT5's. However, in MT4, you have control in the backtesting engine of using tick data provided by any broker. In MT5, you don't get that choice. So there's so many pluses and minuses for the two from a backtesting perspective. However, I've backtested on MT4 and MT5. There's nothing in it. Backtesting's backtesting. So yes, MT5 is faster. However, they only allow you to use one of the CPUs in your machine. Again, it's just a load of rubbish. So MT4, stick with MT4. I sell indicators, not many, but I sell indicators. My statistics on sales, I don't get to see anything in MQL5. I get to see when a sale is made, the amount of the sale, and I don't get to see who bought it. I don't get to see any information, what time it was bought or anything like that. I get to see sales, and I get to see what's sold. And the breakdown of MT4 and MT5 indicators is over 90% MT4. So that tells me that over 90% of traders are using MT4. Still, MT5 has been out for many, many years. It's just not used. So stick to MT4 if you can. And they're not compatible with each other. So if you buy the indicators or any indicators or anything for MT5 and then go, actually, I want to use MT4, tough. You've scrapped that. You need to buy everything again. Way they work. Because they need the revenue, I guess, but I don't know. We need to rent Lambos and McLarens and park at Lee's second home in Scotland. I've got to get a second home first. I can't afford a second home. I just about afford to run this one. We'll have a party and go wild swimming. In Scotland? No thanks. 177 pips on the ES. Very good. Yeah, nice move on the ES. So 3R on the opening range today. It's just about to get hit. 4R about to get hit on the NASDAQ. The Dow is actually moving now. So we are actually getting a clean break on the Dow. But I get the feeling we're about to run out of steam on the other two indices. So if you're still in it, I'd tighten up the stops. Just get ready to jump ship. Back to what I'm going to do. Where are we? 300. I'm just going to trail stops on the Dow. At 320. So that gives me break even on the Dow basically. So I can't lose. I just don't want to have some crazy move on the Dow kick in and suddenly, you know, put one of those big old red candles in. And I'd rather be out of it if it's going to do that. Because when they start to take profit on this move, it could be bang, bang. If that's the case, we're going to get a similar move to that on the Dow, possibly. We're going at the moment though. Taking out the NAS too early by a tight trading stop. That's what they do. There's a time and a place to use them. This is in the back testing, this is why I do system parameter permutation testing on all of my strategies with trailing stop. If you can use a trailing stop of, let's talk in ADR for simplicity's sake. So this range here is 73. So if you can use a trailing stop of 73, 93, 103, 113, etc., etc. If you use 5 different variations of trailing stop on a strategy and they all produce a positive result, that shows you the strategy is robust, but there is not a perfect trailing stop to use. Yeah. So when I incorporate trailing stops into my trading, it's because I'm happy with the money that I've made, not for any other reason. So you will always see me in position trading and in here, putting my trailing stops onto things and adjusting my trailing stops when I've got money. Yeah. Trailing stops, if you use them ordinarily, will get stopped out because market structure moves like that. Yeah. The fact that market structure does that means that every time you break a high, you tend to pull back to it because it becomes a previous resistance becomes a support. So if you put a trailing stop on something as it's going up, you're going to get taken out when it comes down, but it's only coming down to pull back for the next leg. This is exactly the reason you don't use a trailing stop. The reason I did that was because both of these were moving. This one had moved further and I was guaranteed to lock in $1,000 there. And if this did the same thing, I was locking in here as well. But I didn't put the trailing stop on this one. That's tight today. So that's why and how you use them. In the back tester, if you're going to test trailing stop strategies in the back tester, you are going to get completely different results and you're going to get stopped out of a lot of those big wins, basically. Which is kind of why the hedging strategy works. Yeah. So this hedging strategy this morning, remember I said here, as we came off this resistance, I don't like this. I'm getting out of my shorts. Glad I did. Then I was like, this looks like it's probably going to pull back and drop down to fill the gap. But what I did was I put a trailing stop on it rather than letting it run. And what did it do? Trailed me, stopped me out, and then did exactly what I thought it was going to do, fill the gap. So you'll find most of the time the idea you have is right. The reason you don't make money is nothing to do with your ideas. It's to do with the fact that you use a trailing stop because you're scared of losing money. Yeah, this is why people use trailing stops. Oh, brilliant. I've got a load of profit. Let's put a stop loss in there so that when it drops back, I lose all that profit and then let the move carry on. That's what we do. That's what trading stops do. They stop you making profit. They should be called stop profits, not stop losses. But if you use them, they will get triggered. The reason I've got this on here is not because I think this is coming down. It's because I'm happy with $2,500. That's the reason I've got the trailing stop on there. I have no idea where this is going. No one has. It looks like it's coming down now. So really, I should shut this with $1,900 and say, actually, I'll take $3,000 today instead of 2.5. But what if it does rally above ADR and carries on going? I'm going to take 3.5, 4. I don't know what I'm going to take. But the fact of the matter is, I've got a ton of cash and I'm happy with it. So just get me out when you fancy it if you're going to pull back. That's the reason you use a trading stop. Not because you are in a trade. If you are in a trade and it moves 2R and you have a trailing stop of 1R, what are you going to get? 1R. If you want 2R, take the bloody thing off. Because you're guaranteed 1R if you use a 1R trading stop. Or whatever trading stop you're using. Pips, a distance, percentage of ADR, whatever it is as a trading stop. Whatever you use is what you're going to get. I'm going to get that. Yeah. So just be careful with them. You know my feelings on them. I've spoken about them many times in here. I'm trailing this because I want to guarantee and lock this profit in. If this thing flies up to 5R, I'm not going to bat an eyelid. I don't care because I've made the money. If I hadn't have made the money, I wouldn't have a trading stop on it because I'd be chasing the cash. Thanks for subscribing, Rick. Welcome aboard. 190 pips, yeah. Are you using the pre-market or opening market bars today? So this is the 5-minute opening range today. So this is the open. This dotted line is always plotted at the open. So I've taken the 5-minute ORBs today. The pre-market was too tight. Pre-market range was really small today. So these tight little ranges, you'll often get whipsawed on them. Sometimes they fly and you make an absolute fortune, but I prefer to skip them if they're too tight. Maggie, you're not only late, you've missed pretty much the entire day. We're an hour and a half into the session. Wayne, got to go pick up the kids. Cool. So I've just been talking to you and you haven't been here. Great. You have to come back later and watch the replay. But then you're not hearing what I'm saying because you're not here picking up the kids. I don't know why I'm even talking to you. Divide your trade into multiple entries and peel some off. Take profit and leave a runner. Exactly what I do, isn't it? Yeah. So I take 2 entries. First TP was there. Second TP is the second trade is a runner. Exactly the right thing to do. Somebody was asking me as well about taking partials. Partials is a terrible, terrible thing to do. Because if you take a partial stop, what you're doing is you're removing the possibility of making your reward. Somebody was talking about the market reversal alert EA. Can we have a partial? No, it was on the Price Action Toolkit. Can we have a button on the Price Action Toolkit? So this is the Price Action Toolkit that I use to manually trade. Can we have a button that says partial close? So my answer was exactly the same thing. Rather than using a button that says partial close, yeah, if you want to go long, yeah, hit the buy button twice, right? And then adjust one of the TPs a bit further up. There's your partial close. If you take a trade and you have a risk reward like this one here, for example, so if that's your risk, and to make your strategy profitable, your reward has to be 1.5 to 2R plus. If you take a partial when you get here, and this thing moves down, what you've actually done is turn this winning trade into a 0.5R winning trade, whereas it has to be a minimum of 1.5R or 1.25R at the worst case scenario to actually make money as a strategy. So partials do not work. However, if you're risking 2 trades and it's kind of the same thing as taking a partial, but the reward on that first trade has to be this or this. It can't be that because that's not going to work, is it? It's got to be a positive risk reward. Yeah, you've got to have a positive on it. So by taking 2 trades at the open, I'm splitting my risk into 2, but my first TP is always more than 1R. So I'm always going to make the runner a big, nice profit. That's the whole purpose of, and because we don't know with the opening range breakouts, Euro odd is ADR now as well. Because we don't know with the opening range breakouts whether we're going to get a rotation day like we did with the DAX this morning, or we're going to get a breakout day. You have to let these second halves run as much as you can. But equally, you've got to look at your P&L and not be stupid and go and chase the 7R when you've got $3,000 sitting on the table. Take the $3,000. Yes, $7,000 is nicer than $3,000, but take the money. Afternoon, Profiter. Long time no see. How's the system hopping? I'm only joking. But you haven't been here for a while, so you've obviously been off system hopping. Great show, reality trading. Yep. This is why there's nobody in here. There's only 50 people in here because I tell it like it is. Nobody wants to know about the real world of trading. They want to know about the Lamborghinis. How much do you risk per trade when taking 2 ORBs? About $1,000. You should always be risking around about 1%, 2% max on a stop or a hedge strategy. But obviously, it's massive risk involved in anything that uses a stop loss, because obviously you're going to get a losing run at some point. Stopped out on the Dow, so $170. Just stopped out on that one. So this is going to lock in 1500 on top of the 11. So there's 2.6 basically on the NASDAQ, worst case scenario. So I'll just let that one run out. See where we go. New Zealand dollar Swiss at the double top. If we pop this, these sellers is basically what we're running into now. So if we pop that propulsion gap, that high at 125, and then we're off. Shouldn't have got out, but as I say, I've still got it on as exposure, New Zealand dollar Swiss long. Froster, still using my stuff? Good man. Just wanting to change my broker because they stopped using MT4. Good man. Who stopped using MT4? I've been asked many times, when are they going to drop support for MT4 and meta quotes? They won't. Yeah. Remember what I said earlier, 90% of the indicators that I sell are MT4. Do you think they would drop support for the 90% of their revenue to vanish? It's not going to happen. They make a lot of money selling indicators in EA MQL5, so there's no way they're dropping support for their flagship program that makes 90% of the profits. But I'm interested if why, as a broker, stopped using MT4. There's obviously some reason they've dropped it. They may be going more into futures. They're pushing everybody over into MT5. If they're a small broker, they may not have paid for the license. Don't forget, MQL5 is a commercial company. So they sell to brokers. So I don't know where the licensing is, but they obviously license MT4 to the brokers. So if you're a broker, you have to pay for an MT4 license and an MT5 license annually to offer the software to your customers. So it might be a tiny broker that basically can't afford both licenses. Small brokers don't make money. Yeah, if you want a new broker, go onto the My Recommendations page. I'll post it up here. Robo Forex is who I use. Brilliant. Loads of different account types. Massive leverage if you need it and want it. Tight spreads. Low commissions. Huge company. Been going nearly 15 years. I think it's 12. No, it's 12 years. I don't know. 13 years. Something like that. But try Robo Forex. Good execution. There's nothing. I mean, brokers are brokers. You're never going to find a perfect broker, but they're as good as they get at the moment. How is the withdrawal speed? Instant. Well, 24 hours. Depends how you withdraw, but instant. They're a huge broker. It's funny you ask that question. People who ask about withdrawal speed have obviously had problems withdrawing from brokers. So I had that very same worry when I first started out in trading. Because you're putting a lot of money into a company or into something that you know nothing about. So I looked around at lots of brokers and I did a lot of deep diving into reviews on brokers and all this sort of thing. Forex Peace Army is a good place to go. I spent a lot of time on Forex Peace Army looking at reviews and ratings for different brokers. They do a lot of stuff on scams as well. So anybody you see a trading course for, go and have a look. Withdrawal didn't arrive and now support has blocked me, yeah? XNES. Right. These are never what they seem, these reviews. But XNES, it's just one of those brokers that you hear a lot of bad stories about, yeah? So you just have to stay away from Pepperstone. Again, Pepperstone have got terrible order execution. I've traded with them. I never had a problem withdrawing from them. But at the end of the day, go with the big boys. So go with the companies that have been going for 10 plus years, right? That have thousands and thousands of customers. That's really all you can do with brokers. They are all after your money. Every time you place money in a broker, they are expecting you to lose it because 80 to 90% of their customers lose all of their money within 90 days. So when you don't, they will try by hook and crook to keep you. Yeah. But if they are a good, reputable broker, they will be making so much money out of spreads and commissions and A-book trading against their customers, they won't care. So Robo I've never had a problem with. Darwinex never had a problem with. Axie, next day payments. IC Markets I used to use. IG as well, I had no problem with withdrawals on them, but they've been around for 15 years. Yeah. If a company's been around for 10 years in this industry, they don't screw you over. If they screw you over, they're not around in this industry for 10 years. Or if they are, they've got no customers. Yeah. So you won't have a problem with any big boy. And that's what I do. I stick with the big boys. So if you don't need leverage, Darwinex are amazing. If you need leverage, Robo Forex or Axie are brilliant. But it does depend on where you live in the world as well. Can I use Robo Forex or I have to use Robo Markets in the EU? Right, no. So when you use Robo Forex, so there's two companies. You've got roboforex.com and you've got Robo Markets. Okay, so Robo Markets is the EU regulated version of Robo Forex. Okay, so these guys are, or is it the other way around? I can't remember which. Yeah, must be this way around. And then you've got Robo Forex, okay, which you get the leverage on. So if you look at this one and you go to trading and accounts, you can see here it says maximum leverage determined during the registration on the basis of your experience and knowledge. So what happens here is you will fill out forms. If you classify yourself as a professional trader, they will put you onto a pro account and give you more leverage. If you classify yourself as a retail trader, they will make you trade 1 to 30 leverage. You go onto Robo Forex and go to all accounts. Your leverage is 1 to 300, 1 to 500, 1 to 500, or 1 to 1,000, or 1 to 2,000, depending on the type of account you choose. Because these guys are not regulated by the countries that fix that leverage. So you sign up with Robo Forex, not with Robo Markets. And when you land on this website for the first time, it will come up with a pop-up saying, you look like you're in the UK. Do you want to go to the UK version of our website, Robo Markets? And you just go, no thanks, and you sign up on here. So you are now regulated in Limassol. Belize, rather. Sorry, yeah, Belize. Yeah, so you're regulated in Belize rather than being regulated in Cyprus. Yeah, because if you're regulated in Cyprus, you have to use 1 to 30 leverage. Cleverer. This is what I mean. With brokers, you've got to be very careful. And when you get one, stick with them. It's the bane of my life. Every time I need to change broker, it's a pain in the arse because you can't find brokers with decent leverage without phoning them up and saying, I know all about how you work. Shut up. Listen to me. I need 1 to 500. I'm going to stick 30 grand in the account. Here's my account with Axie. Here's my 30 grand. Give me the proper leverage. And they go, okay, we'll move you over to some island somewhere. Yeah. But with that comes less regulation and less protection. Double-edged sword. So position trading accounts, I always have to go 1-500. Scalping accounts, you can go lower. Obviously, 1 to 30 will do. 1 to 30 is okay. I'm considering moving over to Darwin-X for my scalping and having multiple accounts for each index because when you hedge, you do use up your margin a lot. Swiss yen 125 ADR. So I might have to do that. On prop, it doesn't matter. Prop give you 1 to 100 or whatever. So if you go and have a look at the trader funding, if you want to get funded, pretty much all of these guys give you full leverage. Can't remember where the leverage is. There. So you'll see most of the prop firms give you 1 to 100. Yeah. You get the odd one, which gives you 1 to 33 or 10 to 1 in the case of Fidelcrest. Looks good on paper. Got to read the small print. Or is that City? Can't remember. Is it City? Yeah, sorry, City. No, it's the fivers, wasn't it? That gave you the low one. Yeah, fivers. But yeah, just read the small print. Very difficult. Spreads are good. Execution's good. That's what's really important. My multiple brown accounts are worth the 1,000 course I did not take. Multiple brown accounts. Is that a typo? My first broker was Pepperstone. Yeah. You go with, I mean, look at the advertising. Go to Forex Factory. Yeah. Oh, I've got an ad blocker on. My ads on. Yeah, the ads are not showing now. But there'll be ads down the sides here if you didn't have an ad blocker on for brokers. They're all big brokers. Use a biggie. Oanda are also good. Brian has just said IG and Oanda. Oanda are good as well. Alpari, good. Big boys, just big boys. If they sponsor a football team, you won't have a problem withdrawing. Yeah. So look at these guys, right? If they sponsor a football team or a Formula One team, the quid's in. Yeah. You'll be fine. They're that big. Right? When you ask to withdraw £10,000, they don't even notice. It's irrelevant. It costs them 100 million to sponsor a football team. So, yeah, big boys. Does it have any issues with tax declaration? Nope. Broker's got nothing to do with tax declaration. You declare your tax, not the broker. The broker does declare your tax, but your money, your earnings, you're responsible for your tax. Bob's basement broker is the worst. Stole all my money. I was thinking of setting my own brokerage up, the market structure broker. And then you guys, but that'd be useless because I'd never make any money because you guys will make money. There are 1,000 on Robo, 1,000 to 1 leverage, yeah. So I've got account. All my accounts are 500s. 1,000's too much. 500's more than enough. You don't need more than 500, but you do need more than 30. Robo sponsors a German team, yeah. Bank the binary burned you? Yep, they will do. You're using the word binary, Paolo. That is a swear word, binary. Binary options were one of the biggest scams in the industry. And if they have the word binary in their broker name, they're a scammer. Binary options were just the biggest scam ever. Didn't they sponsor Liverpool? They might have done, actually. I don't know. I think they did, didn't they, at one point? AXA, Carlsberg. I don't know. Gambling, probably in there, isn't it? Financial services, there you go, in that green section. Don't know. Axie sponsored Manchester City. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Axie are a great broker as well, but you do need to phone them if you want to get decent leverage. You've got to go overseas with them. But they're a very good broker, very good. They were. I say I used to use them all the time. I split with them about 2 years ago, just because the execution and it was mainly the overnight spreads were getting just too big, too big. So you got 30 to 1 maximum leverage. I've got 200 to 1. So you sign up with them and you go, sorry, I need more than that. And they go, sorry, we can't give you more than that. And go, sorry, is your Singapore office shut? And they go, how do you know about the Singapore office? And you go, I'd like to live there, please. And they go, all right. And off you go to 200 to 1 land. But you've got to phone them, speak to them. Yeah. Don't go with what they say on the website. They will snap your arm off. Look at this statistic. 82.7% of their customers lose money. 82%. Right? So every month, what does this company have to do? Replace 82.7% of their customer base. So when you phone them up and say, I know you give 30 to 1 leverage, but I've got 10 grand here I want to pop into you. If only you gave me more leverage. If only you gave me more leverage and you needed customers, you'd find a way. Ta-da! All of a sudden they'll bend their arm and you're in. You've got to speak to a human being because they can't offer it on the website by law. There's always ways and means. There's always a way around everything. Shouldn't have got out of the pound US dollar. Still in the NASDAQ. Shouldn't have got out of the Dow either. Look, Dow is still running up into that high. But still in the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is approaching ADR. So we are just about to hit ADR on the NASDAQ. Look at these candles now. How small these candles are getting. So look at the size of my stop in comparison to what the candles are. So if you measure these candles, we're looking at 150, 130, 160, 70. Yeah, so I'm moving my stop. 160. Tighten it up. Yeah, the candles are getting smaller. Ranges are getting smaller. My stop's getting smaller. There's no point in having a stop loss down here when this thing's only moving that much distance. If this is going to drop, lock it in. We are at ADR, so that's 2 grand locked in. So that's 3,100 guaranteed on the NASDAQ. Do they sponsor Liverpool? We talked about that. 500 leverage. Yeah, the Dubai office Yeah, in fact, there's always an office overseas. All of these brokers have got overseas offices. Yeah, you can't talk to the overseas offices, but you can talk to yours, and you can explain your situation. You're an experienced trader. You know what you're talking about. Shut up. I don't want 30 to 1. Can you offer it? If not, I'm off to Robo Forex. Who? Robo Forex? Okay, hang on. Let me speak to my manager on that. All of a sudden, you're getting an account. Robo Forex scam? No, it's not a scam, Robo Forex. They're a good broker. This is Robo Forex. I trade with Robo Forex. Great sell on the euro US dollar. Yeah. I took the pound US dollar long though. So did the opposite. Isn't it funny how everyone goes, hey, I made an absolute fortune shorting the pound US dollar or the euro US dollar or whatever. And I went, hey, I made an absolute fortune longing it. On the same day, we were totally different directions and both made money. How funny is that? It doesn't matter what you do, as long as it goes the right direction after you press the button, you're going to make some money. Right, NASDAQ's still rallying, so I'm really tight stop on this now. We are approaching ADR. I get the feeling we're going to get a big old down candle coming in a minute because we're running out of steam. In the last half an hour, we've moved that far. And in an hour and a half, we did that. So that's our 30-minute range. That's our 1.5 hour range. We are totally running out of steam. So I guess the market in a minute is going to look at this and go, screw it, boys, hit the button and we'll pop. So it might well grind on, but I'm going to get out. So I'm just going to lock that profit in. And yeah, that's done for today. So 3.5-ish today. Not good, not bad. Everything else is just playing out. I'm less than 1% drawdown now. Banked 5 on the month, which is not a good month, but it's for the month, for the conditions we're in, I'll take it. I've got another % I can bank right now, which will put me up to 2% drawdown. So I'm going to watch this at the end of the day. So this Aussie US, for example, we've got a nice rally going on into propulsion at the moment, and we're in a downtrend. That's my target, which is very keen target. Break even is there. You can see in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, we're just returning to where we were 6 days ago. So I may well take this position off from here because I've been sitting in it now for 5 days. Close that out, bank that because it's $400. Stick that down there. And then if the market continues to rally, I am in a position from here. And if we can get up to there, I can close out that, close out that, close out that for around about a break even. And this will become the profit on the trade and that profit that I took there. I've taken a couple of drawdowns as well, which that's paid for. So this is all profit. Because basically what I don't want to do is go into next week when I'm away, sitting in a range. I'd rather just get this profit up and lock it in. So again, same thing there with the pound US dollar. Look, we've had a nice little rally on this off of the lows. So if this gets up to there, maybe today, I've got $300 odd there, which I can also bank. So I'm going to watch all this today. If we can hold at these levels, I'll just bank this lot and stick it down there. I might let it run till tomorrow, but I'll see. But at the moment, because everything is literally up, down, I'm just looking basically to get stuff in the bank as fast as I possibly can at the minute and build that bank. So I missed the first 2 weeks this month, hoping that we'd get some movement. And obviously by the time I'd realized we're not going anywhere, I'd banked 0.5% or something stupid. So time to just bank it, get it in the bank. Stop using the RSI? No, God no. RSI is life. Still using the RSI. Aussie dollar CAD, we've got an RSI extension on the hourly now as well. Look. What do you think about Euro CAD? Not a lot. Not a lot at all. Totally sideways, look. It's a long off the lows. I said about this one this morning. If you're in the live room this morning, you weren't, or were you? Can't remember. watch for a bounce off these lows. We obviously hit it on the news at ADR and bounced. That doesn't mean that was definitely going to happen, but obviously that's what I said this morning, to watch this area, this propulsion gap, because we bought it twice. So then they do not want to trade below that level, but then again, they don't want to trade above that level either. So it's only a long up to there. You've missed it. Nothing. Right, I'll leave it there today. It's 4:30. I'll be back on Friday, 7:50 for the Frankfurt session as usual, trade the DAX, and for the afternoon session to trade the US indices. And obviously we'll watch what's going on with Forex. Tomorrow, let's just have a quick, before I go, what happened to oil on the inventories. So we rallied off the inventories, look. So oil inventories, 330, we got a rally. So we've got a little bit of upside movement, back up now, above the lows. So is this a pullback, or is this part of that pullback? So yeah, I've just been monitoring, obviously, the positions that I've got on at the moment. We'll have a look at all of those, obviously, as usual. News-wise, tomorrow, you haven't got a lot to worry about. Why am I logged out of my account? Good. Why have I got yellow news up? What's going on? So tomorrow, no news. We've got unemployment claims at 1:30. That's half an hour before market open. So if you do get a massive move off of this for any reason tomorrow, be careful of the open. If we just get a normal like whipsaw move like that, the open should be normal. Nothing else tomorrow really news-wise at all. Jackson Hole's on at the minute. So we may have talking heads popping up every now and again, dropping a nugget. And the BRICS Summit is obviously still on at the moment as well. So we'll see where we go, but there's nothing particularly exciting tomorrow. Friday morning when I come on, we've got the IFO Business Climate at 9 o'clock, an hour after the Frankfurt Open. So we shouldn't really be too affected by that. And then we've got Michigan and Powell. So Friday afternoon, possibly may not trade that. Because we've got some talking heads and Powell could well really move the market. So I'll see what happens on Friday. But there's nothing to worry about tomorrow news-wise. So it's just business as usual. All these moves that we've got going at the moment, we just need to watch them and see what's going on. But just carry on as usual. Watch for the mean reversion entries. Just keep banking stuff as it gets into profit. Normal stuff, really. All right, so have a good day tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday morning and then Friday afternoon. If you need anything, I'll be in Telegram as usual. But other than that, I will see you guys on Friday. So have a good day.